What's going on, everyone? This is Eric coming at you from just outside of Hartford, Connecticut. Today, we are going to be looking at the NASCAR Championship, which is exciting to me. We're finally here. The NASCAR season's almost over. We have one race left. It's been the long haul. The season's been going on since, oh goodness, we're talking right after the Super Bowl ended. That following Sunday was the first race of the year. So it's been since the middle of February, and here we are. We're in November, and the season's still going on. The long haul's here. I've watched basically every race this year, which is exciting. Can actually say that for the first time ever. So I'm ready to kind of give my opinions on how the three races went in this round of 8. And I will give my predictions for the Championship 4, who I think will win. And I'll look back at my original predictions in the first video that I made for the NASCAR playoffs, and I'll see how many of the drivers I predicted would made it, and we'll look at how the ones that I did not predict to make it, how all that good stuff. Anyways, so championship weekend's here, but first we have to discuss the round of 8. So we'll start by looking at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So Las Vegas was an interesting race, to say the least. And, of course, I missed the first stage and a half, 2 stages of this race. I had a couple things going on, so I didn't get to see the hot part of this race. Now, this race in Las Vegas was... Bubba Wallace was dominating the race for the beginning of the race. Kyle Larson was up there with him. Now, tempers got the best of the two, and basically... Kevin Harvick was racing alongside the two of them. Harvick kind of had to fall back a little bit. Larson doesn't see where Wallace is. He clips Wallace into the wall. Now, it wasn't a big hit. It wasn't intentional. You could definitely tell. And it was something that Wallace could have just recovered. Yeah, he would have been down a couple places for that stretch. But his car was the fastest car on the field at that time, on the track. So he would have been able to recover from it. But Wallace decides, this is ridiculous. So he kind of dives at Larson, going full speed right around the start-finish line, wrecks the two of them, ending both of their races as, Wallace ends up just hitting Larson ends up nailing the wall. Wallace nails the wall. Unfortunately, Christopher Bell, who's in the playoffs still, the round of 8, also gets collected, and his race gets ended. Now... all 3 of the races are done, and then Wallace kind of gets out of his car, runs up to Larson, starts shoving him. So Wallace ends up getting a race suspension, which he should have gotten more than a single race. He should have been parked for the rest of the year. And yes, I did say this with William Byron too. Byron should have been suspended. So I'm not just signaling out Bubba Wallace here. I was actually defending Wallace for this. I was saying if Byron got nothing, Wallace should get nothing. So just putting that out there. I think that NASCAR was very lenient, and they shouldn't have been. But anyways, Christopher Bell, who was in the playoffs for this race here, Las Vegas, we're in the round of 8. His race was over, which stinks. But Wallace, it sucks for him. He should not have gone up to Larson. He should not have wrecked him the way he did. He shouldn't have shoved him. He should have gotten more than a single race suspension. Again, he should have. William Byron should have. So, I rest my point with that. Anyway, so we'll look at how the 8 playoff drivers did in Las Vegas. So, like I said, Christopher Bell, he finished as 34th of the 36-car field because of getting collected in this wreck. He had a very good car that race, too. He was consistently up in the top 5 at that point. So, it really kind of stunk for him. But there's not much you can really do if you're Christopher Bell. You did nothing wrong. You just got collected in something that should not have happened. So the other playoff drivers all had solid races. Ryan Blaney didn't do that well. He finishes 28th. Chase Elliott also didn't do that well, but Las Vegas isn't really an Elliott track. He finishes 21st. So there's your bottom 3. William Byron, also in the playoffs, finishes 13th. Now you get to your top 10, and this is where you start to kind of see the playoff drivers step up, because none of them were in the top 10 to an extent, but the other 4 were all in the top 5. Denny Hamlin finishing 5th. Chase Briscoe, everyone's dark horse, darling, finishes 4th. Ross Chastain finishes 2nd. Joey Logano gets the win in Las Vegas. Las Vegas is a very Logano-friendly track. He loves racing in Vegas. So Logano getting the win in Las Vegas wasn't surprising at all. I was pretty excited because, you know, Joey Logano winning in Las Vegas meant that Joey Logano was going to make it to the round of Championship 4, I should say. So this excited me. This gave him some momentum. And this meant that he could kind of lay back a little bit and do what he wants to do. He doesn't have to win one of the last 2 races of the round of 8. So Logano punched his ticket. Christopher Bell fell down the hole for points. The other players that were still in the playoff picture, everyone kind of had a chance. It was a jumbled mess with Bell pretty low, and Briscoe was pretty low as well because of regular season. So now we go to Homestead, Miami. And this was a race that I did not get to see live. I had to watch it on recap because I had a few things come up, and it is what it is. But so this race was another interesting one. Homestead's another track where nobody really had a dominating car the whole race, but everyone did at the same time. So the playoff cars, unfortunately, Chase Briscoe gets collected in an accident and he finishes 36th. So this puts him in a you must win to advance to the Championship 4 in the last race. Briscoe, big trouble with that. But, I mean, the other issue for him was that none of the other playoff drivers struggled this race. So none of them finished outside the top 20. Logano finishes in 18th, but he was actually running up front. He just kind of had a interesting thing towards the end where he just he had to go to the pits because of a previous accident. He didn't care. He didn't need the... He just wanted him to stay safe because with the way this next-gen car has been and with how everything's going with the tires, if his car had cut the tire and he hits the wall, you know, next thing you know, concussion, done for the season. So the team just played it safe with him. Wasn't concerned. Ryan Blaney finishes 17th. Chase Elliott finishes 14th. William Byron finishes 12th. And Christopher Bell finishes 11th. So Bell is still in a you have to win situation for the final race, even though he finished 11th. Only two playoff competitive drivers, made it in the top 10. Denny Hamlin finished 7th. Ross Chastain, for the second race in a row, finishes 2nd. So, going into the final race, Joey Logano had his ticket punched to the Championship 4. The other 7 drivers were competing for 3 spots. However, Chase Briscoe and Christopher Bell were both essentially in you have to win to make it to the Championship 4. The other drivers were all competing. Chastain, very good shot to advance. He basically just had to finish solidly. Hamlin had a good shot to advance as well. So it came down to who's going to get that final spot. Elliott had a very good shot. So now we go to the final race, and it is in Martinsville, which is some good old short track racing. And honestly, this is a race I'm going to try my best to go to next year because Martinsville, oh man, playoff Martinsville is amazing. So this race, short track racing, all the good stuff. And this race did not disappoint at all. This race did not disappoint anybody in the slightest. So, off the bat, you know, you do have some drivers get involved in wrecks. I mean, no big names. Kyle Busch doesn't do well, but he's already eliminated. Austin Cindric doesn't do well, again, already eliminated, doesn't really matter. None of the playoff drivers missed the top 20. So you already knew it was going to be competitive. None of the playoff drivers missed the top 15. So you basically knew it was going to be competitive. And get this, none of the playoff drivers missed the top 10. So it was going to be a dogfight for those last 3 spots. However, with what I said, you kind of knew that Elliott was going to be punched in. So in 10th place was Chase Elliott. Didn't matter. He advanced. Barely, but he advanced. Chase Briscoe finishes 9th. William Byron finishes 7th. Joey Logano finishes 6th. Logano, again, didn't matter for the points. He had already had his ticket punched to the championship 4. Denny Hamlin finishes 5th. Ross Chastain 4th. Ryan Blaney 3rd. And Christopher Bell wins the race. So Christopher Bell punches his ticket to the championship 4 by winning in Martinsville. This is the 2nd round in a row where he punches his ticket in a you must win to advance championship game, the last game of the last race of the round. So Christopher Bell is stepping up when he has to. So Bell and Logano both advanced to the championship 4 based on victories. Chase Elliott advanced based on points. So this meant that one spot was available to the final 5. Briscoe, Blaney, and Byron were all in you have to win to make it at the end of the race. And Blaney could have maybe had a shot. Briscoe was leading for a while, but his tires kind of got to him. So those 3 were all out. And this led to, at the end of the race, 2 drivers competing for that last spot, Denny Hamlin, Ross Chastain. Now, had Bell not won the race, both would have moved on, no question. But with Bell winning the race, one of them was going home, so to speak. And it was going to be an intriguing fight. They're panning, you know, the number 1, the battle for first. They're panning this battle. They're showing Hamlin, they're showing Chastain. And you're thinking, okay, this is great. Chastain, if you're not a Chastain fan, he's going home. If you are a Hamlin fan, Chastain's going home. This is so exciting. And I'm sitting there, and I got a good friend of mine who's a big Denny Hamlin fan. So I send him a message. I'm like, let's go. Looks like Denny's advancing. Looks like Chastain's going home. Looks like, you know, he and I both like Christopher Bell as well. So I said to him, looks like, you know, our boy C. Bell's going in. I got Logano, you got Hamlin. So, I mean, as long as Golden Boy, Chase Elliott, doesn't win, we're both going to be excited. Ross Chastain goes out and pulls the absolute craziest move I have ever seen in my life at a NASCAR track. You know, at first I'm thinking it's a glitch. No way this happened. How did Chastain sneak in? And then you watch the clip. Ross Chastain takes his car and literally propels himself turn 3, 4, flings up and gains like 7 spots by doing this in a literal video game move, wall banging, if you will. As a NASCAR, someone who has done racing in the past, wall banging. It works. There's no plexiglass to block him like there is in NASCAR heat, and it works. His car's destroyed, but he picks up the spots he needed to. Ross Chastain stole that final spot. My jaw dropped when I saw this, and I texted everyone who I know that likes NASCAR, and I said, can you believe what just happened? You know, some people I knew weren't watching the race, so I sent them a video. Oh my gosh, that's all I'm going to say. Unbelievable. What Chastain did, he deserves that spot in the championship 4. That's all I'm going to say. That's all I can say, really. So, that set your championship 4 as expected, Chase Elliott. And then you had Joey Logano, Christopher Bell, and Ross Chastain. Chastain's catching fire at the time, and that's not good if you are one of the other 3 drivers. Christopher Bell has momentum right now. That's not good if you're one of the other 3 drivers. Joey Logano did get a win, and then he kind of laid back. He's had success at Phoenix before. I'm concerned if I'm one of the other 3 drivers. Phoenix is a very Chase Elliott friendly track. However, he has not been the hottest driver of late, which is noteworthy, but I'm still concerned because Phoenix is a track that he's very good at. So there's a case to be made for any of the 4 drivers to win this week. Obviously, I'm hoping Logano wins. There's a clear bias. I always say every NASCAR video I'm a Logano fan. So I love Logano. If Logano wins, I'll be so pumped. Unfortunately, it looks like other sporting events will not be going my way, and it breaks my heart. But at least we have Joey Logano, fingers crossed. So, looking forward to it. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. Now, for the 4 drivers that did not advance to the round of the Championship 4, Chase Briscoe, nobody saw him making it past the round of 16. When he made it to the round of 12, everyone thought he's done. He's not going to do anything in the round of 12. the fact that he made it to the final 8 just shows that he has so much potential right now. Chase Briscoe is the type of guy who, if he can win a race, he can come out of nowhere and make a run. He stepped up when he needed to in the playoffs this year. So, yeah, you didn't win, but guess what? You put your name out there. He put his name out there. Everyone knows, every NASCAR fan knows the name Chase Briscoe. And, I mean, I've even talked to people when I'm at work. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine who's a NASCAR fan. And we were talking about Briscoe, and he stands out because, you know, I mentioned him. I'm like, yeah, I can't believe that, you know, someone who is Amish is a big NASCAR driver. And this conversation was back in mid-April after he had his win. And one of my coworkers comes up to me back in, I guess, mid-October, and she goes, I saw that the Amish NASCAR drivers in the playoffs, he did pretty good yesterday. I'm like, wow, that stood out to you. So, noteworthy. William Byron, strong season for him. He should not have been in the round of 8. I made my opinion pretty straightforward last video about this. And he shouldn't have been here, so Larson should be in the championship 4. So, that's my opinion. That's my opinion. I don't know who would have made it. I think Chastain would have made it over Elliott because I think they had the same point total. So I would personally rather have Chastain than, I personally would rather have Larson in the Final 4 than Elliott because I do not like Chase Elliott at all. Unpopular opinion, but hey, what are you gonna do? So Byron shouldn't have made it. Good season for him. Again, someone who I didn't really see making it this far, so that is noteworthy. Ryan Blaney, making it to the final 8 without getting a win is pretty impressive, but Blaney needs to first figure out how to be a team racer. And yes, I'm a Penske fan, but I cannot stand him because he's such a selfish driver. He doesn't help his teammates at all, and he throws temper tantrums if his teammates dare to not bend over and do whatever he wants them to do during a race. So I don't care for Blaney, so I'm happy that he didn't make it to the championship 4. I would have personally rather had Hamlin in or Briscoe in. So, worth noting. Last guy in the playoffs that didn't make it to the championship 4 was, of course, Denny Hamlin. I feel so bad for Denny. Now, there's nothing he could have done with Chastain there at the end, because even if he had blocked Chastain, it wouldn't have mattered, because Chastain had picked up enough spots doing that. The best case for Denny would have been that he wrecks Chastain, but I mean, the odds of that happening were so slim anyway. So, now, in the first video, I gave my predictions for who I thought would be in the championship 4. I said Logano. I said Chase Elliott. So I got those 2 right. And then I also said that I felt Denny Hamlin was going to make it. And I felt that Kevin Harvick was going to steal that last spot. But I said I'm not sold on Kevin Harvick. I'm just saying Harvick because he's hot. And he was hot at that point. When I made that first video, he had won 2 of the past 3 races. So it was noteworthy. Now, Harvick gets eliminated in the first round. Hamlin just misses out. So I went 2 for 4. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I said Larson over Hamlin. So either way, Larson got eliminated in the round of 12. Not due to him. Just unfortunate luck for him. But, so I still went 2 for 4. I did not see Bell making it this far. I'm very happy because he won the New Hampshire race, which I was at. Had he not won that race, he would not have made the championship. He would not have made the playoffs. So anything he does is because of what he did at New Hampshire. So I'm excited. Eventually, I will be getting a diecast car of his race win in New Hampshire once I have some more money laying around on my side. And like I said, I will eventually show off my diecast collection. But it's exciting. Who do I think is going to win the championship? Last time I said it, I think Chase Elliott's going to win. I stand by that. I still think Chase Elliott's going to win. I think Chastain's got a very good shot. I think Logano has a shot. I think Bell has a real shot. So any of the 4, I think, can do it. So I'm excited to watch the race. It's going to be kind of awkward for me if World Series Game 7 is happening, if that is needed, which obviously I hope it is, because I don't know which one I'll favor. I'll probably be watching the NASCAR at the beginning at least, because they will be at different times, but we'll have to see. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping for a Logano victory. Best case scenario, Chase Elliott and Ross Chastain wreck each other at the very beginning. Or heck, Denny can wreck both of them for us. I'd be very happy about that. Denny's already hated, so might as well get even more hate. But anyways, this was my predictions and all that good stuff for the NASCAR Championship weekend. I hope you guys enjoyed this. And if you're new, yes, I did play a hockey game. I cannot lovely NASCAR game. It doesn't work on streams. It gets extremely laggy, and I figured that everyone would rather watch a sport that doesn't apply, even an older version of the game. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. Go Logano. If you're a Hendrick Motorsports fan, I guess I won't say it, but we'll root for the 9 car. If you're a Hendricks Motorsport fan, go for it. If you are a Joe Gibbs Racing fan, go Bell. And if you are a fan of Trackhouse Racing, go that guy, number 1. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Have a good rest of your day, and stay safe out there. That's all I'm going to say. Stay safe.